After you bring all your items out to your install location, the first thing you're going to want to do is take your booms, which are these items here. You're going to have two. They are identical, so it doesn't matter which one is right or left, but you're going to need to notice which one has the holes in the back like this. That's the water side. The dock side doesn't have holes in the top like that. So what that's going to do is show you how this is going to be oriented on your dock. So this is the larger end of the boom, and it has the holes here on top for your tying off your canvas. So what you're going to want to do is lay these out left and right, a little wider than what they're going to be when they are put together. So we want to set the ovals in canvas bundle in between your booms and then roll it out. That'll put your ovals essentially in the places they're going to be so that you can start bolting them up to your booms. The oval that's already in the sleeve on the canvas is the one on the dock side, so that's here, and the other ovals that are loose are the next 5. If you pull your canvas out on the dock side this way, so the hem will be on the top at this point, but whenever you fold it back when you finish, that'll put the hem on the bottom side. At this point, this is the first bag of hardware you're going to need. It says Oval Canopy Hardware. It has your black oval caps in here and also your bolts that you're going to need. Typically, docks have a lot of holes in between your dock boards, and so be careful whenever you start pulling your hardware out because you don't want to lose any in the water. We give you some extra, but it's better to not lose any at all. So you could use your canvas, at least in this step here, you could use your canvas as a place to dump out some of your items. You can do this step by yourself, but it is certainly a lot easier when you have a friend holding the oval and positioning it square and aligning it with the holes, and then another person aligning the end of the bolt through the hole in the cap to thread it into the oval. If the bolt is not going easily into the oval, it may be cross-threaded. It probably is. So if it's not going well, don't force it, or you'll have some bigger problems on your hand. And one key is to not tighten any of them up until they're all completely in place. So leave it somewhat loose to allow for some movement. Once you have one boom with your ovals bolted in, if you have a light kit, this is the time when you want to use these and go ahead and put them on the oval. If you have Slam 6.5 or 8, you're going to have 2 of these that have the clips, and that's for your light itself. You have 2 more, and that's for the flex conduit. If you have a Slam 5, you're only going to have 1 of these for the conduit. These go on the 3rd oval from the water side. So again, that's the largest end of the boom, and counting from the opposite side of the canvas, 1, 2, 3. There's a larger side that has the hole and it's taller. That's going to go to the side of the canvas on the oval, and they'll all be oriented the same way. I put the ones with the clips on first because the light switch on this unit is on the right, and that happens to be this side. And so that means the ones without the clips will be on that side of the canopy. If the light was on the left, then I would put these on first to slide over to the left side. So you'll just have to use some common sense there and to orient yourself the correct way when you're putting these on. These will be on the same side as your switch. When it's time to bolt up your second boom, there's a lot of difficult ways of doing this. We're going to show you the easiest way, and that's with 2 people. And what you're going to want to do is do the outside ovals first, and the way to do that is to take and tip this out so that you can put your outside ovals in and carefully lay them in, and then the next 2, and slowly begin to tilt the boom up, and then your middle 2, and very carefully lay those, then they're in place and ready to be bolted up. After you've completely tightened up all of the bolts to put your upper section together, so that's putting the ovals on your booms, and if you have a lighting kit, you've put your brackets on your oval, then now it's time to stretch your canopy from the front to the water side You want to center it up on your ovals, and then you're going to use your provided rope to tie it off. What we suggest is to start in the middle so you're not pulling the slack all the way through the entire, all of the grommets, but take one end, you're going to go up through a grommet and then down through the next grommet. And so essentially this is going to, if you're in the middle of your canvas, go ahead and pull the slack out to where you're half and half on your rope, and then you're really close to where you're going to be for the rest of this step. You go either direction, just go around the oval, whether it's top to bottom, bottom to top, it doesn't matter. And you're going to come back up and go back through the same grommet that you just came from, like this. And then you'll go down through the next grommet and then around your oval again. You'll pretty regularly need to pull your slack through. So then you're going to go again, repeat that step, back up through the same grommet that you went down through, and then down through the next one. And at each step, it doesn't matter if you go above or below the oval, as long as you're going around it. Once you get to the end of both sides, and you are ensured that you have enough slack laying over the end of both sides to be able to tie it off, you're going to want to start to take some of the slack out. And whether you're doing it from one end to the next or from the middle out, it doesn't matter. You just need to get all the slack out of your rope. Before you decide to tie it off, now's a great time to make sure that your canvas is centered in between your booms. And once you get to this point, what you're going to want to do is tie the rope off to the canvas itself. So what I like to do is go back up through this grommet and just tie a simple knot so that it holds the slack as you've pulled it out already. Now you're going to use this hole right here on each side, the inside hole, and loop it around a couple of times, pull the slack tight, and tie it off. Use a knife or scissors to cut off the slack and just loop it around whatever slack it is you have left. Loop it around this one just to hold it in place. All right, your next step after you've completed your upper section is to bolt on your uprights. You're going to need your bag of bolts that are the 3/8 bolts with all of your hardware attached already in the bag. And what we use is a ratchet and a wrench. So both of these are 9/16, and that'll get you through this whole step. We suggest on this step is to use your anti-seize on these bolt threads. This is going to ensure if you ever do need to take them apart, that'll keep the hardware from galding up and becoming stuck where you have to cut it off or break it loose. This anti-seize is going to be found in the bags included in your purchase. When you get to this point, you'll have somebody, your friend, will be grabbing your uprights, and you'll need to lift up from the water side, lift up your upper section, and then align your first upright. This is a right upright on the right side of the upper section. And you'll see how the bolt holes will align. You just drop it down, and then be ready to put your first bolt in. When applying the anti-seize, be careful not to smear it on the aluminum or all over other things, because it can be pretty messy. When applying these bolts, you're going to use the nylon washers on each side of the connection. And what that does is it keeps the stainless steel washers off of the aluminum surface. When you step back and look, you're going to want to center up your light on your canopy. This is going to mean you're probably going to need to pull it one way or the other. And use these clips here to help position the conduit as desired to center up your light here on your canopy. At this point, it's time to rotate your Killerdock Slam into place. Hopefully you've been able to assemble it at the point that you're going to install it, so you don't have to carry it very far. This would take at least 2 people, and you'll see that this is the standard L mount here, and so we're going to be needing a clean 90-degree edge on your dock here. And once you move it over a little closer to the edge, then you'll stand it up into place. Now, while somebody holds it, the second person needs to position the first upright in its desired location. And what you're going to want to do is make sure that the maximum amount of your lag bolts can go into the most amount of lumber. And so you may need to move it an inch here or an inch there to ensure the best install location. Pre-drill for each lag bolt with a 3/16 drill bit. Look at how the base plate is sitting on your dock. Your first lag bolts need to be what are going to be able to pull it in the direction you need to pull it so it sits as flush as possible. Be careful not to over tighten your lag bolts. Using an impact is the easiest to put your lag bolts in. You can use a ratchet. After you have installed the lag bolts on one of your uprights, to find the exact square dimension for the second upright, what you want to do is take measuring tape and pull your measurement across from the flat bar from here to here. And whatever this is for your model, what you're going to want to do is bring it down to the bottom, and then this side is the one that's not lagged in yet. You're going to want to shift this leg so that it's the same dimension from top to bottom. After you get all of your lag bolts into your base plates, then it's time to add your channel pieces to the side of your uprights. You're going to have a right and a left. They're this size, and then you'll need a bag of hardware that says channel hardware to tighten up the channels to your uprights. Just like every other step, your first washer that touches the aluminum is the nylon, and then the stainless steel flat, and then the nut. After you hand tighten all the hardware for your channel, what you're going to want to do is tighten up the hardware on the front two, on the front of the flat bar first, and what that'll do is pull the channel flush forward and then tighten up the top two. At this stage, you are almost done, and you'll have your uprights with your channels connected to in your upper section, and everything is lag bolted in place. The way that your table is going to connect to the slam is these holes right here on the top of both channels. Those holes are going to be for the hardware right here, these two, and these 2 bolts that are already on your table. So what you're going to prepare for that, just like we did on some of the other steps, you're going to remove the hardware from these 2 points on your table on each side. And it's just best to go ahead and remove both of them so you don't lose any of the items. When you put your table in place, what you're going to be looking for is down through the holes here is to align those holes to the holes in the channel. And you'll just shift the table until your bolts drop down through. All right, you'll have 2 accessory trays on your table. That's here and a cup holder. So before you put your cup holder in, what you're going to want to do is remove the hardware from the side of your accessory trays like this, and be careful not to drop it in the water. And those are going to attach here to these holes in the side of your table. And so what I like to do is go ahead and put the bolt through, and then you can align the accessory tray, and then while there's no cup holder in there, it kind of gives you a little bit more room to see what you're doing and to hand tighten one side there, and then that'll give you a free hand to put in your other bolt and tighten it up. Again, this is the way the accessory tray goes. The knife sharpener is on the top, not on the bottom. If it's on the bottom, you flipped it over upside down. And there's your cup holder, and then you can tighten up the hardware. You're also going to have 2 hoses and 2 nozzles, and your hose is going to hook up here. You have a red cap that you can just for shipping that you'll remove, and then connect your hose. The other side of this on the channel is where you're going to permanently connect your plumbing, and then you'll have 2 hose stations on all of the Slam models. You'll tighten up your nozzle, and you're ready to go. If you ordered a sink, then this is your drain piece. This is the pad eye that you're going to use to connect to your dock that's going to hold the tail piece in place. You want to slide your pad eye up from the bottom, and then in your desired location, somewhere in the dock, on the side of the dock, you will pre-drill and lag bolts that are provided. Well, after a little bit of time and some effort, you've completed your Killerdock Slam fish cleaning station. Hope you enjoyed the process. It wasn't too difficult for you, but I know you're proud of it and you're ready to use it. And we believe it's going to serve you and your family, you and your friends, and for a long, long time. And now you can say that you have a killer dock.